All right, so moving on to tip number 2, create a compelling website. So, we've talked about your Google business profile. That's great. You now have a Google business profile, and you need now to get as many people to learn about your business as you can. Google business profile is great for a snapshot of information, but it doesn't say anything about your brand. It doesn't say anything about what makes you different from other competition, right? Or other businesses in your local area. That's what a website is for. It has a lot of reasons, right? There's a lot of benefits of having a website, but it is the first thing that is a unique page about you and your business. It allows you to showcase your brand, and it allows you to showcase your services in a lot more detail. And, again, right, we talk about this sort of first impression people have. If you think about the stats that we talked about, right, over 50% of people are starting online. That's the majority of people on their phone. The most of those people, if they're trying to actually understand, is this a business I want to trust? Is it a business I want to work with? They're going to click that website URL, and when they click that website URL, they're going to get a first impression of your business. A lot of folks we talk to in this industry, they spend a ton of time. Maybe you're one of these people. You spend a ton of time in your suite making it look perfect, making it look just like matches your personality. You have all these little things that you're doing to help you stand out. But what good does that do if nobody's getting there in the first place, right? You want to make sure that all that effort you're putting into, build that beautiful interior design and that experience in person is matched online, right? You want to have something, if the first impression is what matters most, and most people's first impression is on your website, you want to make sure that kind of translates as much as possible, or at the very least looks professional and has your core content in it, as much as you can, right? So that is the goal of the website. It's where most potential customers decide where to go. So some of the things to really think about, right? Branding is essential. What is branding? The kind of trifecta of a brand is the logo, the fonts, and the colors. You want to have a logo that looks professional. You want to make sure that it exemplifies your what you're building as a brand, right? And the mood and the tone that it gives off is matching what you want the customer to experience in your business. And then, of course, the business details need to be there. So the name of your business. If you have a team, I put an asterisk here because if you have a team, you want to showcase that team. If you have hours of operation, you need to make sure that those are in there as well. That's the kind of information people are looking for. And again, Google is scraping all this content. This is the second reason why it's so important to have a website is it tells Google that you're credible, that you're investing in your business, and also all that content that can't necessarily live in the Google business profile that you can put on your website is being scraped by Google. And that's how they're determining what to show to people who are searching online. So you want to fill this website with as much relevant content as possible. And that's where we get to things like services, right? You want to try to have all of your services listed, not as an image, because Google can't scrape images, but as text in your website. You want to have descriptions for as many of those services as you can, because all of that content can be scraped. It's useful to the person who's reading through that website, and it'll allow for information to be shared before they give you a call, right, or come in person. Images. So images is incredibly important, especially in an industry that is aesthetic. Having high quality imagery separates businesses to a huge degree. We see the conversion rates of businesses that are just using stock images versus the ones that have gotten professional photography to showcase actual client work and the interior of your business, right? To help you set yourself up apart from others. So it's worth investing in good photography. Plus that photography can be used we're going to talk about social in a bit, in your social media. It can be used for, any email marketing campaigns. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. And so imagery is really important to get right. Call to action. So a CTA or a call to action is all about what is the primary objective of your website? What's the number one thing you want people to do when they are on your site? Typically, that is to schedule an appointment. And so if you have appointment booking software, that's really where you want to drive that traffic. You want people to book now. If you don't have appointment booking software and you want them to call to book, then that primary call to action is call now to book an appointment, right? Something like this. You want to make sure that that is emphasized very clearly on your website, not just on your desktop, but on mobile. Because as we've talked about, the majority of people are looking at your website from their mobile device. So if you see right here, we want them, as soon as they land on your website on their phone, they should be able to schedule an appointment right away. This first screen that people see is the most important. So if you haven't checked it out, right, maybe you built your website on a computer, highly recommend you open your website on your phone and take a look at what is the first impression most people are going to have when they look at your business. How many clicks does it take for them to book an appointment, right? How much effort is required for them to work with you? And do they get a quick sense immediately of your brand and your business? If they don't, then you have some work to do because they'll click back and they'll go to the next business, right? So that first screen on their phone, that's the most important thing to get right, making it as easy as possible to book now or whatever that call to action is, front and center, emphasized, no extra clicks, and ideally throughout the site is an important thing to do. And then lastly, a custom domain. Google cares a lot about, again, credibility of your business. And if you don't have your own custom URL, something like, amitsalon.com, it's going to hurt you in search availability. If you're using some other third-party website's domain and it's a meat salon dot thirdpartywebsite.com, for example, right, that's going to be less impactful as having your own domain. So it's useful because it shows that you're professional, it shows that you're credible. Not only that, but it shows your customers that you're professional as well. So Google cares about it, your customers care about it, and it's an important thing to have this entire sort of website built. And it's not expensive. A domain costs about $12 a year. It shouldn't cost more than that. Often it's included in whatever service you're using for your website, but that makes a big difference.